Hello, my name is Paul McGee. I make independent self-funded films and I'm here to break down how you can do it too. Last week I got real excited real quickly about buying the iPhone 13. Like a lot of filmmakers, I saw the ad they'd been running entitled Hollywood in Your Pocket, and like most filmmakers, my eyes grew wide, my jaw hit the floor, and my hands started to shake as I fumbled for my wallet. And why not? Here's a device that can shoot in cinematic mode and make your movie ideas look like these movie ideas. But if you're just starting out in filmmaking, should the iPhone 13 be your first filmmaking camera? Let's weigh up the pros and the cons. Pro, cinematic mode, the very thing driving the iPhone 13 ad campaign. What is it? It's new AI tech that can pull focus automatically or manually with a swipe of your finger, giving you an effect that is known as being cinematic. The shallow depth of field. This is where everything you want to keep in focus looks nice and sharp and everything else looks blurry, dreamy, cinematic. This is what levels up this smartphone camera from other smartphone cameras in its field. But the key word to keep in mind here is in its field. Okay, that's 3 words. Con. Cinematic mode might give you this cool focus pull effect, and the 13 also has exposure control too. However, this is all on a touchscreen, meaning you have to swipe and drag and pull and point your way to get in the exact controls you want for your shot. Whereas something like a DSLR camera allows you to assign these controls to actual dials, things that you can turn with your fingers. And there's something actually hugely satisfying about being able to turn wheels that click when you've reached a certain place that you want them to rest at, that you can't ever quite get with a touchscreen control. Although if you're using autofocus, you do generally still have to touch a screen to point where you want that focus to be. So swings and roundabouts, I guess. Well, not really. More like 1 swing to 20 roundabouts. I feel like I've entirely confused myself with this metaphor now, so moving on. Dials that click good, touchscreens not so good. Pro, the iPhone 13 sensor, and to be fair the 12 before that, can capture some really awesome low light footage. So if you're in a pinch and you don't have the lights you need to get something that you want to show, you can always pick up the exposure, make things a bit brighter, and it doesn't look that bad. And this will come in very handy if you're shooting stuff on the fly, like documentary footage or a vlog. Con, it's how much? Expensive. That's what it is. At over $1,000 or £1,000, it's no cheap piece of kit. You could make your whole first film on that budget without buying the iPhone. And I mean like hiring cast, crew, props, equipment, and a camera. Don't believe me? Well, I studied just one sequence within the Hollywood in Your Pocket iPhone ad and managed to come up with a sum total of what that would have cost as a budget. If you don't use an iPhone in that shot, you can definitely buy a camera that can do all the things that the iPhone 13 is promising and still create something very similar. Pro, but that doesn't mean you can't make movies with an iPhone. Here are 2 great examples of movies that were made with iPhones. iPhone 7s, in fact. And these are really, really good movies. Tangerine, for example, won Best Picture at Sundance. So if these kind of movies can be a success even without cinematic mode as a feature on the phone, doesn't that mean a superior piece of kit like the iPhone 13 is worth forking out for? No! Con. Although these films were made with iPhones, you can bet that when they were filming on set, they were using more than just one iPhone. They were definitely using at least 2. Here's why. Con. This device is still primarily a phone, with all the problems that brings, such as con. The battery dies real quick and it's not changeable, meaning you're always going to need one to shoot on and one to be charging, doubling your phone and camera budget. Con. Storage is built into the phone so it can't be swapped out, and it fills up faster than you think it will, meaning you're always going to need one to be shooting on and one to be transferring your files off of. Again, doubling your camera budget. And it's not even like your film clips are exclusively using the storage on your phone either. It's being shared by a whole bunch of other apps you've got on that phone. And I know what the argument would be here. Well, then I can have one iPhone that's purely for filming stuff on and one iPhone I can have for regular use and for all those other apps. And why don't you just buy a phone that's a phone and a camera that's purely a camera? Wait, did I mention this? Con, it's a phone with a camera attached. Don't forget this, the camera is still just the secondary function of this device. iPhone are giving you a really good camera, so you'll buy their phone. It's not the other way around. Sure, the camera technology is probably the most sophisticated thing on the phone, but if that's so great, why aren't Sony, Canon, Lumix or Fuji making phones on their cameras to sell their cameras? Because it would be a stupid idea, Paul. Well done, Observant Paul. Yeah, it would be weird because they're known for making one device that does one specific job. The point is, making movies isn't the sole purpose of this device. And that's something you should really consider when thinking about spending this much money on something to make films with. It also means if you do get one, you better put it in airplane mode every time you shoot to stop all the notifications that might come through and annoy you and get in your way of actually filming something. And all those people that might call you as well. Although I don't think people actually call each other anymore. Do they? So let's check out that scoreboard. Oh dear. Okay, but I will say this. A professional camera operator friend of mine has bought himself an iPhone 13. Not as something to use professionally, but he was getting a new phone and that's the one he got. And when I asked him if he was in a pinch, would he use the iPhone 13 to shoot actual footage professionally, his answer was a resounding absolutely. So if you like documentary filmmaking, you like vlogging, and you don't have the budget for both a new phone and a new camera, then maybe the iPhone 13 is the device for you. But if you feel like you're going to need more control in the movie that you want to make, let's say it's a work of fiction and you need to be able to understand the light, the angles, exactly what it is you want to see on screen, then I suggest not spending all of your money on this one device, but actually divvying that money up so you can get those other pieces of control that you need in the equipment that you buy. And that includes buying a camera that's just a camera for a lower price than the iPhone 13. And if you have the sort of budget that needs stretching and you're worried about how you're actually going to fund your film, then I would suggest clicking on this video here, as it's going to show you how to think about funding in a completely different way that can get you making your movie today. I'll see you in that video. Thanks for watching, filmmaker.